What's the deal? It's Mr. Fresh to Death, Pretty Boy Smooth, and you are now listening to Wrestling Cheers.
Taking your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, especially when you're only a little under 7 miles away from where I live. This is Wrestling Cheers. We'd like to talk about things going on in Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene. We preview shows, we review shows, and sometimes we even have interviews along the way. This is a preview of AIW's Wasted Youth. I'm your host, Justin Summers, and Wrestling Cheers is brought to you by Midwest Territory. Please rate, review, and subscribe your ever listen to this fine podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, or Podbean. WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. Like I said, this is a preview for AIW's Wasted Youth in Kent, Ohio. And you know what? There was a little bit of a backlash from last week's episode. So I've decided to have someone come on and plead their case. This person was not voted for debut of the year, and they are very angry about it. So, Dustin Alberti, plead your case.
Look, it's not even so much debut of the year. It was maybe the best debut of the year. I've had more matches than all these kids, technically, since I've called more matches than all these kids have had matches. I could at least have been the commentary debut of the year, but apparently you can't even get an award for that. I'm just saying that I think that some votes need to be retabulated, a little bit of recalculations. There were a couple hanging chads from what I understand.
No, the Chad hasn't been around in a long time.
Hanging chads, hanging the chads. I feel like I won. I feel like, one, I am way better than Swamp Man.
Sure.
I'm way better than Alec Price, maybe. I'm way better than Shaw Mason. I am way better than Austin. Well, I'm a little bit better than Austin James. I'm saying I'm a little bit better than Austin James. And all the rest of our class could even make the list. So if I'm going to get lumped in with that class, which I honestly feel like I'm above that class, regardless, if anything, I should have been the person who was debut of the year, but if hips and butts were candy and nuts, I guess.
I mean, technically, you have the whole Calling All Skeletons card that could have been nominated for debut of the year.
Which was also made better by my commentary. So if it wasn't for me, half those people wouldn't even have a character. I made up all of the characters.
Did you have a different character that day?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I will say this, little known fact, I came up with the Gabagool and gave it to Dominic Guarini. That was a Dustin creation.
That was the night that you thought I was a meme.
Yeah, you were a meme. You were the dancing Halloween meme. The dancing skeleton Halloween meme.
It was a pumpkin mask.
It was the dancing pumpkin. That's right. The guy in the graveyard dancing as a pumpkin. That's what I meant. I was mixing it up with the dancing skeletons for the other Halloween meme. Too many Halloween memes.
A skeleton was a different Halloween 3 mask that I was not wearing.
I don't even know what Halloween 3 is. That's the one without Mike Myers. I know what it is. Who am I kidding? Seen it all.
Well, not even that. Freaking Thorne wears the shit all the time.
Yes, I know. I act like I don't watch horror movies. I watch all of them.
So, yeah, Dustin, welcome back to Wrestling Cheers.
Yeah, here I am, making my triumph. I mean, if there was a return of the year at the end of the year this year, I might be able to win it, but who knows? There will be no real award show at the end of the year, because this show is dying.
Yep.
Without me, this show has died. It has finally died without me, and I'm just back to stamp my ground and let people know I'm here to maybe save the show, but the show will probably still die. It might be a little too late.
Maybe I can bring Pat Lucy back on too.
I don't think anybody wants that.
I mean,
He was at the Halloween show, wasn't he?
I can't remember.
I think he showed up to the Halloween show.
I mean, I could get Peyton Vince back on too.
Peyton Vince. He's starting back up his sports podcast. Very exciting.
I just seen an Instagram post like, oh, check out our new episode. I was like, when did you guys come back? And it turns out, it was
just came back.
Yeah, just came back.
Just came back this week. Listen to We Love Sports podcast with Peyton Vince.
Is he still on there?
The support. What?
Is he still on there?
Yeah, he still does it. He was hitting me up and talking to me about it the other day. Just another place you might be able to hear me soon. These sweet, sweet vocals that I lay down for everybody.
Some say it's like water.
It's like water.
We should have a few Turner's Hall.
You know.
We should have a few more Turner's Hall references that just go over everybody's head.
If you want to hear some great Turner's Hall content, you should subscribe to the AIW Patreon and listen to myself and Derek Dillinger talk about the good old days of AIW back before all of you fans came and ruined everything.
Seriously, how many people you think subscribed to the AIW Patreon and was around during Turner's Hall?
I don't know the numbers, honestly. I'm out. I'm not privy to the AIW Patreon numbers. I would guess based on the Discord, if we were doing percentages, it's less than 10%.
Probably.
Would be my guess.
Yeah. That was a wild time. And even like calling out the chairs of how like they all weren't the same. And it's one thing if you have like a couple that are different, but when you have like literally the lawn or patio furniture, like those are always towards the back too.
Yes, it's Turner's Hall was a special place. Apparently some people tried to buy it recently again, and like it's going to cost like over $1 million to redo the entire building, and that building never was and never will be worth $1 million worth of fixing up. So
no,
it will probably just end up demolished, and that'll just be a big open space for kids to have after school fights or something. I don't know what kids in that area do.
I will say adding to the playground that was across the street.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need to do. Add to that playground across the street.
But that was the home of the original AIW tailgate.
It was another thing that I so graciously did for people, and nobody cared. Nobody cared about me.
Hey, I cared. I was there.
Later, making my debut and not even getting nominated for debut of the year. That's sicking me. All you people sicking me.
That was like the first time I remember seeing Ichiban.
Yeah, Ichiban. I wonder what he's doing.
Not taking pictures at wrestling shows anymore?
No, I don't know. Probably got canceled. I think everybody just gets canceled.
You didn't get canceled?
No, I didn't get canceled.
Not yet.
Let's slow down. I ain't getting canceled.
Till we go back to Turner's Hall and hear everything that you yelled at back then.
I was I was fine for the most part. I may have said a couple crude things, but I never said anything cancelable. Now, my friends can't control what my friends say. I didn't say anything cancelable. I remember.
Just say his name, Kerry Ortegas. I
am not throwing people under the bus. I am letting those who may or may not be guilty live in anonymity. And that's anonymity, right? I said that right. Anonymity.
Don't ask me because I stumble on that word too.
I think it's anonymity. I think I said it right. I think that's the word. So I will say no names. You may have said unnamed, but I will not say if that is or is not one of the people who said things, but that was years ago. Things were different.
He always used to yell things at my woman.
Look, your woman is a taken woman now.
And I am a taken man.
Yes, yeah, that's what's really stopping it from happening. Is you're a taken man.
Anyway, AIW won't be at Turner's Hall this weekend. Nothing will be at Turner's Hall this weekend.
Not. It will not.
Some ghosts might be at Turner's Hall this weekend, but AIW Wasted Youth.
Yes.
At the
First
Outpost.
time inside at the Outpost in Kent.
Oh yeah.
Very excited. Newish venue. If you were there for Westapalooza, you know that it was we really are hoping to turn it into another I don't want to say like B show spot, because we don't really think of our shows as A shows and B shows, but it's going to be another place where you could see AIW action that you wouldn't necessarily see at like a large show, where you'll see a couple, maybe a little bit more talent from outside of AIW. You'll see a little more talent in like matches you wouldn't usually see them in. Like that's like Winchester shows have been, things like that. We're hoping to turn the Outpost into something like that, to kind of continue to build that Akron Canton area, and to give some people a little bit more ring time in front of the crowd to help make themselves better and give the crowds a great show.
Starting up
company, man.
Starting up Akron Intense Wrestling.
You know, it's looking that way. We've been run out of town, from what I've heard. So
I heard it's not a I gotta get the right word. It's
conspiracy.
It's not a coincidence.
Conspiracy. It's not a coincidence. It's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
We've been kicked out of town. Run out of town. We'll never be back.
Kicked out of Turner's Hall.
We'll just keep drawing 400 plus in Akron. No big deal. I'm sorry. I had like 500 plus in Eastlake. No big deal. But yeah, Cleveland, it's so hard for us to run here. Get kicked out. Nobody wants us to make a bunch of money for them. Hard.
Yeah, Turner's Hall was like, hey, you're doing great business here, but you can't come around anymore, and we're just gonna shut down in spite of you.
Yes, it's like cake breaks. The Odeon was like, hey, we're not doing any shows at all, but it's because we don't want you here. And we're like, sorry, we didn't mean to. Now here we are. At Kent in the Outpost, looking at a new venue, which creates a whole nother logistical nightmare for AIW. But we, as always, will figure it out. Put on a hell of a show, which we're going to talk about. We have a really good. I think this is going to be a low key. It's a great way to start the year off. You're gonna see some new faces, some newish faces, some new matchups. I think the show is going to be a real good show. It's going to be a real good start to the year, which is only going to get. I think it's going to be a good start to get things rolling. If that makes sense to everybody.
I'm actually curious to how the setup's going to be inside. I was just at the Outpost back in.
So are we.
I was just at the Outpost back in November for a concert, a Metallica cover band, and at the end of the show, I kind of turned around. I was like, okay, how is this going to work?
Yeah, that's to peel back the curtain a little bit. When we ran the Outpost last time, I was like the second person there. And for those who don't know, outside of just doing commentary for AIW, I also help out a lot with logistics, and I've been helping a ton with the new production that we've been doing. And we get there, and I look, and if you were at the Outpost, it's literally it's not a hill, it's multiple hills. There's almost no even ground where we were running the show at.
Yeah. And
I mean, it was a logistical, that happens almost when we did the Russell Rager at First Stop when we didn't have it in Lakewood. We went there the first time that, I went there the first time Thorne saw it, and it was me, Thorne, and a few other people. I don't remember who else was there. I think Bishop, maybe Derek, I don't know. And when we saw it, it was just a big field with overgrown grass, and we're like, okay, this is going to be where we do a show in 3 weeks. And it got cleared up, and then every time you go to these new venues, you might have an idea of how you want to set things up, but then you have to go, all right, if we're going to set this up here, where are we going to put the entranceway? The entranceway has to be near the locker room. Where's the locker room at? So it's going to be interesting to see where things end up in that building. Because like you said, it's not a very big space. It's very Winchester-like in size.
And
the only difference is we can't use the stage for the ring because the stage is too low or too high.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I thought the stage was too high because, like, compared to
too high.
Compared to the Winchester, it's a much bigger stage. Which, granted, it's not a huge stage, but it's still like a decent size. And then I obviously don't know like some of the logistics of how like that stage works. Like if there's stuff that they can take down, they can move, but like there's kind of a little barricade at the front.
Yeah.
And cause I was like, oh, this could be, where the entrance is set up and like they, you come out on the other side, like
on the stage.
Yeah. But there's like that barricade like is a little bit higher than the stage. So it's like, I guess not even a little bit higher, but like enough higher.
Yeah. And that's like, you couldn't do it like how we did when we did those return shows at the Odeon to kind of like create a smaller, more intimate space. We butted the ring up against the stage. So you just walk right from the stage into the ring instead of doing the walkway like we had all those other shows.
Mm-hmm. Like
I said, it's kind of create a smaller, more intimate space. So people had the space to kind of spread out, but like things weren't, logistic stuff. You couldn't do that there. Like you said, there's the barricade, there's space. So it's, like I said, it's going to be a very day of decision. It's going to be a hectic morning for the AEW logistics and ring crew. So, and then the whole addition of adding where we're going to put the cameras. And I don't even want to think about it. Let's talk about this show.
I was just going to like actually say like, it's definitely not a very big venue, like even like ceiling wise, because like I've gone there twice to see ICP. And I mean, if you know anything about ICP with them like throwing Fago, normally like that's supposed to go like pretty far. Yeah. Because
it can't go anywhere.
I mean, oh no, it can go like so far, but like with the lighting and everything, like it only can go so far. Like
it was probably like when you take a bouncy ball and you throw it in like a small room and it just bounces all over the place.
Kind of.
It doesn't go like usually when they do those Fago rockets, like they throw them against the stage, they pop open and they just fly out. There's no place for them to fly out to unless they go straight.
Well, you can all, I mean, it's not just Fago rockets. Like you can actually just like throw a Fago and all that kind of stuff. But like like I said, you can only go so far because of like the lighting and the roof. Like I don't think you could throw something, not even just Fago, but like throw like even a ball to like the back of the room while standing on that stage. Like if that stage wasn't there, like, yeah, you could. Oh, you're going to, you're going to try it?
No, I was saying it's not like we could throw like a person. That's going to be what's really interesting to see who can throw a person in that room. Very low ceiling. But we'll figure it out like we always do.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this card. And we will start with this match. Ziggy Haim versus Kayla Cassidy. And we kind of talked about this before we started recording. We are not very familiar with Kayla Cassidy. So this is AEW debut. And this is also a very rare singles match for Ziggy.
Yes. So all I really know about Kayla Cassidy is she's pretty athletic and she's like highly recommended by a bunch of people. That's all I really know. I've had a very hectic weekend, and I usually will use the weekend before a show to kind of like get to know some people who I don't know very well if they're on the show. So I'll probably do that in the next couple of days. Today is Tuesday as we're speaking, but Ziggy, this is like her chance, like to show us like what do you have as a singles competitor. Like it's like I don't know how to. It's not like a prove yourself moment, but it's like all right, let's see what you can do without Derek type moment.
Yeah,
and she will probably rise to the occasion. I guess I think she's got a great attitude about everything. She's ready for it. She's been working hard to get better, and this is her moment to shine.
I'm someone who always puts over Jocelyn, and for her, rightfully so. And I'll say this about Ziggy though, like she is one of the craziest women that have been in AIW in a while.
Yeah,
and I say that as a compliment, like someone who can just flat out go nuts.
She's not scared to mix it up. So like you bring up Jocelyn, like Jocelyn is scary and not afraid to mix up in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're both very similar in the fact that they're very small and scary, but they're small and scary for completely different reasons. Like Ziggy, you're just kind of worried about whether she's gonna I don't want to say bite you.
I was thinking bite too,
but you're not 100% sure what you're going to get from her. Sometimes she gets a little manic, and Jocelyn is just scary, and I would never say anything bad about her because if it ever got back to her, I fear for my life.
Ziggy's someone who might bite you. Jocelyn is someone who might punch you straight in the face.
It's not even might. She would punch you straight in the face. Ziggy is a little scarier because she's a little bit more unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
Jocelyn is scary because it's very predictable that she will just beat your ass.
Yeah.
So it's a toss up.
I like what you were saying, like about kind of like a prove it moment, but it's just kind of like we've seen what you can do with Derek, and being in his corner, and she's someone who doesn't get a lot of one-on-one matches. I
don't think she has anything to prove as far as being an asset to the company. She is an asset to AIW. She's an asset wherever she goes, and she has titles in other companies. She is not a slouch by any stretch of the imagination. This is her moment. It's not her first AIW singles match, but this is all right, you've been doing this stuff with Derek now so long. Let's see what you can do here. Let's see if we can mix it up a little bit more.
I think with her, now that we mention it, this might be her first
women's match.
I thought it was first women's. No, she hasn't had many as I pull it up.
I know,
but it's rare. It's so fucking rare.
She had a banger with Mikey at Wrestle Rager. And that's the last time I think she had a singles match in AIW.
Yeah, just looking at her career in AIW match wise, because I obviously she debuted in 2020. She's not even listed. She doesn't have any AIW listings for 2020 on Cage Match, but obviously I know that's when she debuted. But she was more just coming out with Derek for those.
Yeah.
But in 2021, her first women's match was episode 7 of Go for Broke. And that was her 4th match overall and 3rd singles. Her other singles matches were against Joshua Bishop, which was her first.
Yes.
Only
going against the champ right away. Got to respect it.
Only 49 seconds, but nonetheless.
Still got to respect it.
And then that was episode 2. And then episode 5, she beat Brian Carson.
Well, that makes sense. Everybody beats Brian Carson.
So episode 7, she has her first women's match against Megan Myers.
Okay.
Doesn't have another singles match until the North Canton Main Street Festival show number 3. So not even a televised match.
Yes.
Yeah. And then her next singles match after
Who's
that.
that against?
Oh, Jocelyn.
Is that Jocelyn?
Yep. That's I think the only time we've seen them against each other.
Possible.
And then she doesn't have another singles match until
Wrestle Rager?
No, because this is 2021.
Oh, so we're not even in this year yet.
Yeah, her next singles match, because you can't forget Bill Alfonso.
Oh yeah, she did have a singles match against Bill Alfonso.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And then 2022, which I didn't realize there was a repeat. Jocelyn Navarro defeated Ziggy at the North Canton Main Event Street Festival. This time, show number 4. And then the last singles match we saw with her was Wrestle Rager 6 versus Mikey. So this is a rare thing for Ziggy being in a singles match, but also a women's match. And everything we went over, this is her first women's match at a regular AIW show. And I say regular as in Go for Broke obviously was a pandemic and it was just filmed, not in front of an audience. And then
no audience. And
then you had the street festivals where there were people there, but that wasn't a regular
AIW crowd.
Yeah. So this is the first match like that for her. So that's kind of cool to see. And then what's crazy, like she's been around for so long, like nobody's going to think of it like that. Like it's like, no, this is Ziggy. She's been around for.
She's a mainstay on the AEW roster. Like it's not like she's not a throwaway character in the circus. She is a big part of the circus. She is the manager of the Intense Champion. She is the weapon, the number one weapon of the Intense Champion, the weapon of sass destruction, as they call her. She's not she's a member of the roster, regardless of how many matches she has had or has not had.
The weapon of sass destruction?
Yeah, somebody called her that. I don't remember who it was.
Is Sassy Steffi coming out of retirement and challenging her for that?
I don't know. Is she retired? It doesn't count if you're retired. There's multiple Nature Boys.
I think she is retired. Like
Nature Boy.
The last thing I heard from her, or heard about her, I know I think she has a kid and lives in Canada with her husband.
Good for her.
Yeah. You kids who watch AEW now, you weren't around for Sassy Steffi.
We're not around for Sassy Steffi.
And the Midwest Militia, which granted the Midwest Militia really wasn't in AEW. 2 out of 3 were.
No.
Well, all were at one point, but 2 out of 3.
Things change.
Yeah.
Things change.
Yeah. That's going over a lot of people's heads. Anyway,
yes.
Ziggy versus Kayla. I'm going to go with Ziggy. Do you want to give your pick, or what do you want to do?
Look, Justin Summers, I am an impartial commentator. And as impartial commentator, I don't know if you just saw what happened to Bernie Kosar making bets and making picks. I'm not losing my job over picking somebody on Wrestling Cheers. I'm not losing my job, Summers.
Well, who will you be rooting for in this match? I'm not saying who's going to win, but who are you rooting for?
I will be impartial on commentary. We'll see how. I'll say this. We'll see how Kayla Cassidy treats me throughout the day. And you'll find out on commentary if she was being nice to me or being mean to me on commentary.
Okay.
I already have my relationship with Ziggy. We'll see how my relationship with Kayla Cassidy is.
I'm gonna go with something that is a reference to the AEW Patreon show that you did, the casting couch.
Yes.
What about Ziggy annoys you?
What about Ziggy annoys me?
Yeah.
That she doesn't bring her dog to all of the shows. Like, I understand why she doesn't, but that dog is sweet. So it annoys me she doesn't bring her dog to the shows.
That was a cool ass moment.
Yeah.
Or cool ass, like I say moment because the dog was by me and everything, and just watching her throughout the match. But nonetheless, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's what annoys me about Ziggy. Is that she doesn't bring her dog to every show.
Remember that one time I brought my dog to the show?
I do. Zool is a good dog.
Zool sat out in the car for the rest of the show because I showed up late.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And for those who might want to get mad, it was early fall weather, so it was very comfortable in the car.
It wasn't like you left your dog in some hot car. It was nighttime. Your dog was sleeping when we got to the car, anyways.
Mm-hmm. And I did bring her into the show. Biggins gave me the thumbs up.
Yeah, there's no, you can't be mad at Justin Summers for bringing his dog to the show. I won't allow it.
All right, let's move on.
I wasn't nominated for debut of the year.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Lewis Linden versus Shaw Mason. I think there's a lot of people out there that are going to look past this match because they're just going to be Lewis Linden sucks and all this, but there's been something that's been said about Lewis Linden about, he's one of those proven wrestlers, not necessarily someone who's made a name for himself, but he's a good wrestler.
He's a measuring stick,
yes.
Which is I think what you're getting at. That's always been him and Flip Kendrick are both as Thorne will say, the measuring stick of AIW. If you can't have a good match with Lewis Linden, what are we doing with you? And I think we've already seen that Shaw Mason can have a good match. Shaw has grown so much in the short amount of time that he has been wrestling. He has a lot to learn still. He gets a little overzealous. And working with somebody like Linden is going to make him a better wrestler. But Lewis Linden has had a lot of an attitude change lately. Say lately, but I guess he's been around for 9 to 5 has been doing this thing now for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not lately, but almost 3. Yeah, almost 2 years. Pandemic. So Louis Linden is going to be a little bit more. He's going to be a little crafty, and this is going to be the first time that Shawn Mason has been like he's wrestled Filthy Tom, who is a veteran, but I don't think Filthy Tom is quite the crafty veteran that Louis Linden is. Is what I'll say. Instead of calling Louis Linden a straight up cheater, I'll just say crafty veteran.
I like it. I mean, that is a great way to describe Louis Linden, but he's also, like we said, a very, very good wrestler, and it's something that people don't think about. But when you consider like some of the people he's gone up against in AIW, like dude might not have 5-star matches, but I don't know if I've ever watched a Louis Linden match or a match that he's involved in where I'm like, oh, that sucked.
Yeah, he doesn't have bad matches. Like as much as people don't like him for whatever reason, or like if you can sit there and tell me that a Louis Linden match is bad and give me like a good reason why you think it's bad, I'll like listen to it. But like, oh, his theme music is annoying. Oh, I don't like his character. Like whatever. Like watch the match and tell me that the match is bad. You can't. It's impossible.
I think it's funny when people would complain about his old theme music, like, oh, he like people only like him because that dang-a-lang thing, but like that wasn't something that he did. That was something that
it was the natural thing that happened.
It was, some of us fans like got into it and like we all like love the dang-a-lang part. So yeah, he incorporated that to what he was doing because it got over.
Yeah,
and it was something that we genuinely liked. I mean, this goes back to like Turner's Hall days. Yeah,
it's like I said, I feel like he gets a bad rap because people don't like him for whatever reason. But I think this is a big match for Shawn Mason. He's going to learn a lot, whether he wins or loses. This is a good spot for Louis Linden to remind people that he is a good wrestler. He's not just a tag team guy. He is a legitimate threat. He's been in main events. He's been the Intense champion. He's had shots at the Absolute title.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a pretty good record in AIW. Like, this is the first time Shawn Mason is going up against an AIW guy that's not a student. Like, yeah, Filthy Tom is an AIW guy, but like he's not like an AIW. I don't want to say pillar because I wouldn't necessarily say Louis Linden is a pillar to AIW, but he was one of those steadfast like soldiers of AIW. And this is the first time any of the students really are going to be. Oh, I guess that's not true. Sure, some of them ran into the buckets during the gauntlet. Or no, they weren't in the gauntlet. Students weren't debuted yet. Either way, I think that it's going to be a good match because it's a Louis Linden match, and I think it's going to make Shawn Mason work a way that he hasn't had to work yet, and it's going to be very interesting to see how he can adapt to a more like as technical as Louis Linden is. He's also a little high flyer. He can be a little bit of a brawler here and there. Like it's a lot to throw at Shawn Mason. We'll see how he reacts to it.
Something that I don't know from looking at this graphic, but will Jack Verville be there too? Because that would make the night a little bit harder too for Shawn Mason.
As a human being who doesn't make those decisions, I can't tell you for sure if he will or will not be there. I will say that part of that being a crafty veteran thing is not letting somebody know that Jack Verville is there and then Jack Verville being there and then that coming around and possibly changing things a little bit.
Yeah, because I would think
that's what a crafty veteran would do.
Shaw would need to kind of watch his back.
Yeah, and that's whether he's there or not, you never know when he'll show up. Just because he's not there when the ring's going up doesn't mean he's not going to be there after the bell rings.
True. So for Louis Linden, Shawn Mason, I got to go Shawn Mason. And since you...
Again...
I know, you're not
can't really pick.
You can't pick, but I'm going to have some fun with this. I'm going to pick one person each match. Maybe both, or maybe, if it's a team, we'll see how it goes. And we're going to go back to the... what about Shawn Mason annoys you?
What about... He's dumb as rocks. That's what annoys me. He's just so dumb sometimes. So just say things and I go, Shaw, why did you... in what world do you think that is a normal thing for someone to say or do? Love the kid to death. He's a very, very nice kid. Dumb as rocks.
Shout out and congratulations to him. When recently he proposed to his girlfriend, now fiance.
Recently engaged. Shout out Jacob May, his fiance's brother. Know him well. Good guy. That's fun. Here's a fun story I'll give you about Shaw Mason. So Shaw Mason texted me one day. He goes, "Hey, do you know Jake? Jake May?" And I'm trying not to dox people, but I guess I already said Jake May.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, because Shaw and I went to the same high school. I am about 10 years older than Shaw, but we all went to the same high school. And Shaw was like, "Oh, I'm dating his little sister." And I'm like, "Oh, sweet." Like, yeah, I know Jake real well. So it was after one of the, like, after Shaw had his match, probably during the show. Shaw's there with his like little group, little like crew, and I love just making people like wonder what the hell just happened. So I'm like, "Oh, hey, yeah, it's nice to meet you." I knew her name like right away, and she's like, "Huh?" I was like, "Let Jake know I said hey," and she's like, looks at me. She goes, "What did you say?" I said, "Let Jake know that I said hey," and like I just walked away, and like I turned around and she was just flabbergasted. I had no idea what just happened, and like. It was like in like the merch area at the Odeon. And, like the whole merch table was like looking at me, and I'm like, "What? It's her brother. I know her brother." And she's like, "I don't even know you." I'm like, "Look, you just gotta. I know people, and that's what all that really matters. You don't gotta know me."
Yeah. The funny thing is too, like with you obviously being part of AIW, where it's like you don't know me, but you're gonna one way or another.
Yeah, I'm just like I said, I love just making people like in that like, wait, how does he know who my brother is? How does he know? Like it's a weird thing to like just say like, tell your brother I said what's up when you've never met me before in your entire life. And like I wasn't like good enough friends with her brother that like her brother would have like talked about me at home very often.
That you know of.
Yeah, I mean like I said, we were friends. Like I would consider him a friend in high school, and like we hung out outside of school a couple times, but like nothing crazy. We had a bunch of mutual friends who she probably knows really well. But, like, I'm like that, like, outlier friend that probably wasn't talked about much.
That halfway reminds me of a story that I have where there's a family in my hometown where I grew up. They literally, and I'm not kidding, probably have 7 kids, if not more. And, I mean, I'll say their last names because it's not like everybody's going to find them. But they were the Durbacks. And the Durbacks had a certain look. I mean, obviously, like their family, they all kind of look alike. That's kind of what I'm saying. So I had like one in my grade. There was one, the oldest was about 3 years older than me. And then like every so many years, there's like another Durback. Well, I was living in Ravenna, which is one town over from my hometown. And I ordered a pizza. And this person who I probably never officially met came to my door, and I just looked at him and I'm like, "You're a Durback, aren't you?" And they were like, "Yeah." But it was just
that's
being able to look at someone and go, "Oh, you're a Durback." Yeah.
Are you a Harry Potter person?
I am not. I've seen the movies once, but like that's kind of where it ends.
So I'm not really a big Harry Potter person either. But that kind of reminds me of there's a fan-made musical called the Harry Potter musical, which I do love. Like, I don't care about Harry Potter that much, but that musical and then its sequel, a Harry Potter sequel, are hilarious. And in one of the things, the girl who plays Draco Malfoy goes up to Ginny Weasley and goes, "Look at you, red hair, hand-me-down clothes, pale skin, look sickly. You must be a Weasley." And that just reminds me of it.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's the next match, Justin Summers?
Tyson Riggs versus Kaplan.
What a sick segue that was.
It was.
Good work, team. Good work, team.
Actually,
that's my being a producer, my production and broadcasting skills coming in.
Ironically, too, like I already had like the graphic pulled up because like I just throw them on my iPad and I swipe over and I'd already swiped. Like I was waiting for the next match. So yeah, it was perfect. But Tyson Riggs and Kaplan, does Tyson Riggs know what he's getting into?
So I don't think Tyson Riggs ever knows what he's getting into. If you have listened to me on commentary, I know Summer says not because he doesn't care about people who help make his show.
Because I don't have a FITE Plus subscription.
Doesn't care about the people who helped build the show into what it is today.
I could say
that's why he's killing it. He doesn't care about people. But
hold on, I could say I have heard you on. I could say I have heard you on commentary because I've been sitting at the last show. I was really close to commentary.
That is true. You have heard some of that commentary. But Tyson Riggs is a black belt in bear shark martial arts. Now, I don't know if you've ever looked up bear shark martial arts. There's not a lot of information on it. And also, when there's not a lot of information on something and you are a master of it and you are a black belt of it, and like outside of like buying a black belt, I don't know if you've actually earned that black belt. I've only seen a little bit of martial arts out of this guy. Some of it's very good. He is a legitimate grappling martial artist. I have seen him use that prowess in person. The rest of it might be a little fugazi. Kaplan, on the other hand, not a martial artist. I wouldn't really even call him much of an artist. But what he likes to do is hurt people. And I don't think that Tyson Riggs' debut was against Dominic Guarini. Mm-hmm. Dominic Guarini likes to hurt people, but he also likes to take care of his kids. And Tyson Riggs is one of his kids. Kaplan doesn't give a shit who you are. He just wants to hurt you and win and continue to win. I don't think Tyson Riggs is ready for that type of brutality, I guess would be a word for it.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think he's ready for that. And if when it comes to Kaplan being an artist, I mean, if, putting people in pain is an art, then he's an artist, but he is someone that, simply put, just does not give a fuck. He will choke Tyson Riggs with his black belt. Yeah,
he doesn't. He'll find any type of weapon. To Kaplan. So I've mentioned this on commentary. I've mentioned this in real life. Anybody who will listen to me about Kaplan. Kaplan legitimately feels like a rock. Kaplan is big. But there's big and mushy, fatty, you can push somebody's belly in and Pillsbury Doughboy their ass. You can't do that to Kaplan. Kaplan is legitimately just solid mass. He is a boulder of a human. He himself is a weapon. When he throws those fists, because he throws those fists, those are little tiny, they're not even tiny. Those are little rocks. Those are rocks coming directly to your head. Everything about Kaplan is solid. And it might be a short night for Tyson Riggs because of how quickly he's getting his ass beat, but it's going to be a long night for Tyson Riggs in the hospital after Kaplan's done with him. But I'm not picking winners or losers. Just saying. It's going to be allegedly that's what might happen. I don't know. Can't pick winners or losers. Can't be betting in Ohio now that Ohio gambling's legal in Ohio. Can't be letting Thorne fire me for it.
I mean, it's not like Thorne listens, but other people listen. So if I'm picking somebody, I'm picking Kaplan. But we'll go with Tyson Riggs. Of what about Tyson Riggs annoys you?
Everything about Tyson Riggs annoys me. His stupid hair, his dumb martial arts, his stupid face, his better than you attitude with his fake. I mean, who knows? Maybe real black belt. Who knows? Who knows? Everything about him just annoys me. I mentioned what annoys me about. I think I said the same exact thing about him on the Casting Couch podcast. That's one of the people that Derek asked me what annoys me about them. Everything about Tyson Riggs annoys me.
And there's only one AIW student in the history that you hate, but we won't get into him.
Yeah, won't get into him.
I will say though, I kind of agree. I won't say hate, but I will say I was never a huge fan of his, and I don't know, he always felt kind of weird to me. And we'll just leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
But what about Kaplan annoys you?
How about I don't think I could think of something that annoys me about Kaplan. Kaplan's one of my favorite people. That I don't get more of his jerky more often. That's what annoys me about Kaplan. I really like Kaplan. There's not much that annoys me about Kaplan.
I need to.
Maybe the cigar smoke. I don't like cigar smoke. I don't like any type of smoke in my face. But even then, I can stand away from him, and it's not like he's a douchebag who blows it in your face.
That's true. I need to get some jerky this week.
It's really good.
Oh, I've had some. It's been a little while, so I might have to pick up some more. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we got Pretty Boy Smooth versus Sam Holloway.
Oh, big boys.
Yeah. When I saw this get announced, I was like, ooh, number one, a return for Pretty Boy Smooth. I don't think we've seen him since Absolution. And
I believe that is the last time we saw him.
And to come back against Sam Holloway, is this the first time that Sam might be looking at someone face to face, like dead on in the ring?
I think PB's taller than Sam. We talked about how the ceilings at the Outpost are a little low. This is going to be one of those matches where we're really going to test the height
yes.
of this building. It's the first time we've seen PB since Absolution. I do believe that's correct. Sam's been slowly figuring it out. Sam's another one of those kids who has all the potential in the world, and sometimes I'm just like, man, you need to fix this, you need to figure this out, and he's getting a lot better, and he is one of the of the class that debuted. I think him and Hendrix Hawkins both had about the same amount of time in the ring, but all the other people who debuted with them had been training for 2 years, some a little more than 2 years. The pandemic kind of throws things off a little bit, but they both are they both had a little less time to figure it out, but they were able to excel that quickly that they were able to debut with these guys. And I think that's something about Sam I think is really interesting to watch, is where somebody like Members Only, when they debuted, not that they were finished products, but they were a little more, I don't even want to say ready, but that's the only word I can really think of right now. They're a little more ready than some of these guys who only trained for a year. And I think this is going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be the first time in a long time we've watched somebody coming straight out of the school and grow right in front of our eyes and figure it out and start to really piece things together, and we'll start to see oh man, I think this match is going to be a really good, let's see where he's at type thing, because it's the first time he's going to be in there with somebody who's bigger than him, taller than him, and a lot more experience than him, and it's going to be it's going to be fun to watch. I'm interested to see what happens in this match.
He's going up against a former AIW Absolute Champion too.
Former Absolute Champion, former Tag Team Champion. I mean, PB Smooth has been around for a while now. He is much like Louis Linden, and he's kind of a measuring stick in AIW. He's one of those people that Thorne can rely on to come in and do things the right way and teach a little bit. It'll be the first time that Sam can be in there with another big guy and see how another big guy works in the ring. It's going to be very, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what we learn coming out of this. I don't think we're going to see Sam learn in the match, but I think after this match we're going to see a lot out of him, where this match has kind of taught him a little bit.
I just thought of this question, but I'm going to give the answer first, and that's, I think Sam Holloway would have been Biggin's favorite student from this class. I only say that because there are, I can't remember if I've said this on the show or not. There are two wrestlers I remember Biggins getting excited for that they were about to debut. And I'm talking about people who are students. It was Dom and PB, because I don't know how many times I heard Biggins repeat he's 7 foot tall and you can't teach that.
I think Biggins, so it's hard for me to really put myself in this. I don't know if Sam would have been his favorite, because Sam Sam is very all business when it comes to the school. Like, he doesn't really, I don't want to say he doesn't joke around. He doesn't have personality. Like, he does, and he's gotten way more comfortable over time. I think somebody like Shaw would have been his favorite because, like, he could make fun of Shaw. Going back to Shaw being dumb as rocks. Like, I think he would have had a soft spot for Shaw because Shaw, like, that's the type of person that he just likes to mess around with. And Shaw has a lot of personality. He's really outgoing. He talks a little bit faster than you think sometimes. I think Biggins would have thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Or me. Or I would have been his favorite.
He would have nominated you.
Yes, he would have nominated me. Or he would have saw me the next day and said, "You see, you didn't get on the Wrestling Cheers debut of the year thing?" Like, of course I didn't, Biggins. Of course I saw that. I can rub it in.
If I'm picking someone here, I love PB. I love Sam. I'm going to go with Sam.
Okay.
What about Sam Holloway? Do you find annoying?
That he forgets that he's big sometimes.
What?
Like, I always, like, look, I understand he's athletic, but, like, you're big, Sam Holloway. Like, be a big guy. Do big guy things. Like, be a big guy. I think he forgets, like, he's too worried about being a big guy. He doesn't want to get pigeonholed as a big guy, but I'm like, you're a big guy, though. Be a big guy. And that annoys me. He knows that. I tell him that all the time.
Yeah, okay.
He's another one of those, like, really nice kids. Like, there's nothing I can say that's really, like, bad about him. He's very polite. He's very cordial. A lot of thank yous. A lot of just being a nice kid. So, like, I can't really say there's anything about him that, like, really annoys me. But, like, it annoys me that, like, I go, Sam, you're a big guy. You don't need to walk the ropes and do a flip to the outside. Like, yeah, it's cool. But, like, you also can just beat the shit out of people. Like, be a big guy sometimes.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one. Austin James versus Cisco Silver. You got some things to say about Austin James.
Austin James, in my opinion, and I know everybody's entitled to their own opinion, is probably the most well-rounded student to come out of this class. And, like, regardless of whether you like his music because it's country or not, whether you like his music because the intro's too long, like, he's talented. He has great fundamentals in the ring. You can see it every time he goes out there. He's won. He's a winner. And he's true to who he is. Like, it's not like he's not trying to make himself somebody he's not. Like, Austin James is not 9 to 5, but, like, a hardworking warehouse guy who plays softball on the weekends and gets into fights after the softball games, and, like, that's who he is. Like, that character is who he is. He is your typical beer league softball guy who's just out there trying to have a good time, enjoy himself with his friends. Like, it's a character, but, like, it's not a character. That's who he is. Like, that's how he came up with the character. Like, he is Austin James. Like, that's who he is. And I think he's been getting a real bad rep from some people, especially some people on this goddamn podcast. And I think it needs to be known that I think that Austin James is the best talent to come out of this class. Now, Shaw's very charismatic. He's very easy to get behind. Sam is very large. He's very easy to get behind. But, like, I know that Austin James kind of got shit on because, him and his mom nominated him for debut of the year. But, like, he's had a very good debut. He's had good matches. Like, get past the fact that I just don't understand the softball guy. Like, just get past that and just watch him wrestle. He's a good wrestler.
Do you know who I think would
That's all I have to say.
Do you know who I think would really like Austin James?
Chandler Biggins?
Peyton Vince.
Peyton Vince would also really like Austin James. I should ask Peyton Vince if he likes Austin James, but he would like him. Probably played softball against him.
Probably. It almost seems like if Peyton Vince was a wrestler, that's who he would be. Is Austin James.
Yeah. Yes.
I think for
Peyton
me,
Vince was talented or athletic at all.
I think for me, I don't want to say I don't get the softball thing, but, like, it's not necessarily connecting with me right now. But I think over time, much like I said about all the students, because I've seen it happen time after time, they're going to make changes. They're going to tweak some stuff here and there to a point of next year. It's not necessarily going to be 100% different, but they're going to have evolved. And I'm waiting to see more evolution from Austin James.
Yeah, it's a very much trust the process. If we ever steered people wrong before, sometimes you might not like something at first. Look at the things about that you do like and just go along for the ride, because it's going to get better, and it's going to be, everything has a reason. Yeah.
What about Cisco Silver? That's someone who also kind of gets a bad rap among some fans.
Yeah, and like, again, what does his shoot job have to do with the fact that he's an amazing wrestler? Like, dude is talented. He's got charisma. He's had his matches with Shaw were great matches. Like,
I mean, I nominated the first one for match of the year.
Yeah, it was really good. Like, Cisco Silver has been busting his ass for the last. Actually, I just talked to him about it over the summer. I think he's been wrestling now for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, if I was going to guess, I was going to say about 5. So 4 or 5 sounds about right.
I think it was 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. And like, he's been busting his ass to get to where he is now. Like, he finally has taken some steps in the right direction. He's getting opportunities in the IW. He's taking advantage of those. Like, give the dude a chance. Like, it's not like he's trying to make you like something besides his wrestling. Like, all he cares about is the fact that he's going out there to have a good wrestling match. Like, get over it and enjoy it. Like, stop hating things for no reason. Just enjoy things.
I agree with him.
Two very divisive people.
I agree with the whole idea of, like, Cisco has really, scratched and clawed, much like Jocelyn, to get where he's at.
Yeah, like, the dude's worked hard to get here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't discount that by any stretch of the imagination. Like, just look at what he's done. Like, like I said, he's had great matches. Like, he's going out there and giving his all. Like, just enjoy that.
And what we've seen with him in AIW is different, slightly different from other times we've seen him, or outside of AIW. And I like that, because that's someone who went, I have to change things up if I'm coming to AIW. I can't just be like normal Cisco Silver, because no one would have given a fuck.
Yeah, he brought some charisma. He brought some aggression with him. Like I said, he's really putting forth the effort, and I think that it's getting overshadowed because of who he is. Like, just enjoy the fact that he's a good wrestler, and then maybe get to know the guy. Like, this match, for as like weird as it could sound, could end up being just like, I don't want to say match of the night, and I don't want to say match of the year contender, but like, it's going to be one of those matches where, like, that was a good match. Like, I feel like that's what people are going to go with. They're like, that was a good match. Like, and I think that if you just look at it as a wrestling match, that's how everyone will come away from it. But if you go, I don't know, that softball kid's music was real long and it ruined everything for me. Well, I'm sorry that, like, you're unable. We cannot help you on that. I'm sorry, that's not how that works.
I think I threw it out there, though, but was it you that complained about Magnum's long promo?
Yeah.
I thought it was you.
But it wasn't necessarily a complaint. It's an actual acting thing, and it's about economy of movement, but it's also economy of words.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an actual thing where it's, if you can't convey something to me in 3 minutes or less, is kind of what I kind of look at it as. If you can't tell me a story in 3 minutes or less, why should I care? Like, now you're just, it's like, why are you going to give me a 5-minute promo for a match that's going to be 10 minutes long? Like, why is your promo half the amount of time in the match? Like, your match should be telling the story. Your promo is just like an extra piece to the pie. Like, the crux of everything is the match. Tell me the story in the match. Don't tell me the story in the 5-minute promo that you're cutting. Cut a 2 to 3 minute, 1 to 3 minute promo. Let me know what you're getting at. Let me know set the table and then serve me the food. Don't set the table give me an appetizer, tell me what I'm going to be eating. Just set the table and then give me the food.
But I will say this. That wasn't a regular promo either. He was doing camera edits, drone shots, if I'm correct, if I'm remembering the same promo.
It was the eating peanut butter promo?
Oh, no. I'll say the eating peanut butter promo had no words.
Yeah, that was short too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I talked to Magnum about it. Like, he basically agreed. He was like, no, you were right. Like, if I can't get over my promo in 2 or 3 minutes, all the extra, he could have said in that 5-minute promo, he could have said the same thing in 3 minutes. Just get rid of all the extra stuff. You don't need all the extra stuff sometimes.
The thing that I always said that I liked about Magnum, whether it be his regular promos where he's just, talking into a camera, or that one which was supposed to be a little extra extravagant, that he was one of the first people that I would notice that tried to do different promos, as in not like when the ones that are shot by the wrestler, I should say, where it's like they're not just in their bathroom or, the same kind of setting. Like, he was like going out into the world, doing one in a field, doing one at a playground. And like, he would try to incorporate like where he's at into the promo. So it's not just like random thing. I'm somewhere different. And that's something that I'm noticing a little bit now with promos we're seeing in AIW, to where they're not all this, hey, I have this match this weekend, blah, 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 blah. Like, where they're just in their house.
Yeah, it's, again, I never said I didn't like his promos.
Yeah.
I just said they were long. And I think, like Derek's gotten really good at it. He'll put out a 1 to 2 minute promo that's not like a promo you've seen before, and he'll say, this is who I am, this is who I'm facing, this is why we're fighting, this is where we're fighting. And it's captivating the whole time. But if one of those Derek promos were 5 minutes long, it'd be too much. And I know that this is asking me about things being long because people are saying that Austin James' intro is long. But, some people have long intros too, and people don't complain. People are complaining just to complain about something, which the intro is now cut shorter. So anybody who's still complaining about it hasn't been paying attention.
I did notice that it was shorter,
which I think it should just be longer. That's just me.
Trying to go through YouTube, see if I could find that promo, but I'm not seeing it right now. I don't know what I have to type in. I mean, granted, like, some Magnum CK promos are coming up, some from his channel, some from the AIW channel.
Yeah, I remember it being black and white, and it looked like it was shot in like a ravine. Not like a ravine, but like a concrete like area, like with a bunch of like ledges on it. I don't know.
I thought the one I'm thinking of, I thought he was on like a roof, but I'm still not on a roof. I'm still not seeing the long promo, because even if I just look at time, like, nothing like that showing up. But I mean, it could be deleted. It could be just, a different YouTube algorithm where it's not showing up. And I have typed in Magnum CK AIW. So I figure like that stuff would come up towards the, there's a promo in black and white, but that's for another place, not AIW. But anyway, something I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to look through later. Austin James versus Cisco Silver. If I'm picking somebody, I'm going to pick Cisco.
Mm-hmm.
What do you find annoying about Austin James?
Oh, he's not one of those just good people. Austin James, it's annoying that this one's tough. It's hard to think of something that annoys me, because he's very not annoying. He's just not an annoying person. I don't really think about things I like about him. It's annoying that he hasn't found a niche for himself yet. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
It annoys me that he hasn't really found his niche. Like, he's trying, it'll happen for him, but it's like one of those, like, I can see it, but everybody else is like, I don't see it yet. And I'm just like, I can't wait for everyone to see it.
All right, let's move on to the next one. PME versus H2V2. Something that I shouldn't admit here on the podcast saying into a microphone, but when I looked at this graphic, I was like, what does H2V2 mean? Then I realized, oh, Hendrick Hawkins, Vic Weiss, why the fuck did I sit there and question that for a second?
H2V2. They're a virus.
But yeah, I do like these two being put together tag team. I
think it's...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think that it's definitely a good spot for both of them because they both have strengths and weaknesses. And I think they like accentuate each other's strengths and weaknesses. Like some of the things that Vic can do, Hendricks can't do. Some of the things Hendricks can do, Vic can't do. Like I think that they're very good for each other as far as like two pieces of a puzzle to make a better picture.
Mm-hmm.
And then PME is one of the most decorated tag teams in AIW history.
That's crazy just to think about, but yeah, that's...
Yeah, I mean, I would say as little amount of time as they've been around, but they've been around for a while now. And they, I think this is going to be the most, the most veteran team that H2V2 is going up against. I think, much like they've learned from their match with the Bitcoin Boys and other people, I think that this is going to be everything that PME has learned from their matches with To Infinity and Beyond and their matches against everybody else, like matches against Balkan Season, their multiple matches against, if you believe that Bitcoin Boys are not, the multi-man match, the multi-tag matches that they've been in, they bring a lot of knowledge to this match. And I think that much like the match with Sam and PB, Hendricks and Vic can only come out of this with more knowledge. Whether they win or lose, they can only come out of this knowing more and being more prepared for matches in the future.
And you got to think too, with PME, they're going to be getting ready for that Akron street fight. So
yeah.
I don't know whether they're going to be looking...
Maybe.
I don't know whether they're going to be looking past H2V2 or they're going to be using this to get ready for Euthanasia. Because, I mean, if they're looking past H2V2, this could be a surprising win for H2V2. And I say surprising as in just like people are not going to necessarily expect it. But if you're more worried about Euthanasia, I could see them taking advantage of that.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Vic is one of those, like, he's one of those type of people who he'll notice if you're off your game a little bit and he'll attack that. Hendricks, very much the same way. Like, if they are too focused on Euthanasia, it could definitely be a bit of an upset. Maybe one of the biggest upsets we've seen. I know every time there's a big upset, it's the biggest thing. But, like, I don't think I could think of an upset that's bigger than if Hendricks Hawkins and Big Vice beat PME.
Yeah. So if I'm going to pick somebody in this one, I'm going to go PME. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and think that they're going to use this to get ready for Euthanasia. The only thing that I do wonder, though, this is going to be a Saturday night, and where is Josh Prohibition and M-Dog going to be? Maybe M-Dog's traveling the world. That's could very well be the story, but J-Pro might not be.
Yeah, you never know. Could be a beautiful day in Kent, Ohio. Good day to be alive.
What do you find annoying about H2V2?
Their inability to find direction is what annoys me about H2V2. Like, they both want to be extremely successful, and they both have the ability to be extremely successful, but, like, they're just so quick to, like, just drop something or just try to do something, or instead of, like, really just thinking it through, they're very, I don't know a term for it. They act very on impulse sometimes, and sometimes you gotta let something bake to make it good. Like, it's like any good pie. You have to let it sit in there for the right amount of time. If you take it out too early, it's not going to be good. If you leave it in there too long, it's not going to be good. And they just got to figure out the right amount of time to cook their pie. And I think once they figure that out, I think the two of them could really be a force to be reckoned with.
You have to bring up food. I'm hungry.
I'm sorry.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Anthony Young versus Chase Oliver. I'm expecting this to be an early match so Chase can get back to work behind the camera. But for those who don't know too, this is not Anthony Young's AIW debut. We have seen him in AIW before. It was just last year. We looked it up to double check. He debuted at AIW 3D.
Yeah, as quick as he came out that curtain, he went right back through the curtain. He had the unfortunate task of debuting against Isaiah Broner. Lucky for him, Chase Oliver is not Isaiah Broner. Unlucky for him, Chase Oliver is Chase Oliver. Chase is really trying this year to put his footprint, put his hand, like get his fingerprints on professional wrestling. Like I've been talking to him a lot lately with the production stuff, and he is like 100% in. I'm like, I'm going to make things happen for me this year. I'm not going to let things get in my way. I'm not going to make excuses. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to bust my ass every time I can get in front of a crowd and make a name for myself. And he is very motivated this year. And I'm hoping that works out for him. I think he has all the potential in the world. He is probably the most athletic student to come out of the school. One of the most well-rounded students to come out of the school. He's not even a student. I'm just saying, as a student, I think he has a lot of. As what he said, he's like stopped and gone his entire career, and I think he's ready to just go now.
You know, when I talk about AIW students evolving, you know, Chase is like a really good example of someone who did just that. Like the Chase that we saw debut and this Chase are two different people.
Yeah, that whole class. Like if you look at Josh Bishop and Chase Oliver, like when they debuted together versus like where they are now, like those are two completely different types of breed of human. There's no way those are the same people.
Yeah. So I try to take like that type of mindset to a lot of the students. Like you're going to change. You're going to change your look. You're going to change a lot of things about you. So what I'm seeing now isn't like it, which is.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, you got to trust the process. Like we're not going to put somebody out there like to fail. We're going to put somebody out there to get better. And as long as everybody's accepting that, like, we're here to watch this person grow and get better, like, that's the only way you get Josh Bishops and Chase Olivers and Dominic Arini's and even to an extent of Derek Dillinger. Like, the only way you get those people is if you give them the chance to become those people. You can't just write them off because their song's too long or you don't like their character or you don't understand what's so cool about somebody who's big. Like you have to give it a chance to become something instead of just not care.
Or you don't like the fans that they bring.
Yeah, like that's another thing. Like who cares? Like those people, not only do they bring their friends and family in to like come into the show, but like those people support the business. They come in, they buy merch, they come in, they buy concessions, they come in and like that's I don't want to say like they're part of what makes AIW what AIW is. Like you can complain as much as you want about the Bishop Brigade or the Barkley Nation or the what is Mason's crew? I don't know, whatever Shaw Mason is, or
I don't think there's a name for them yet.
Dugout or
the Dugout.
I don't know. That's what I called them on commentary. If you listen to my commentary, you'd know that I call the fans the Dugout. It was pretty good on my part. I came up with that off the top of my head.
That's a good one.
I don't know.
I'll give you credit there.
Yeah, like these people, they're not just coming to support their family or friends. They're also coming to support the company, and that's like more than I could say about a lot of AIW fans. Like, love all of our fans. I'm friends with a lot of you people. You people are a lot of you people are friends with me, and I understand that everybody has a differing everything, but like those are the people who come up to the table and like, oh, let me get an AIW shirt, or like, and like they don't even care what shirt it is. They just want to have a shirt like to help support the company and to remember that their friend works there, that their family member works there. Like those are the things that I don't think people understand. Like I know you'll say you understand it, but there's so much more to just like these people showing up, and they're they're not wrestling fans. They're not doing things maliciously to make you mad. Get over it. Everybody is weird in situations where they're not normally in.
The AIW ref, the student ref, the one that just debuted. We were
and Charles Van
that Jake Clemens said he would have voted for.
Of course he would. He's garbage.
I mean, referees stick together unless you're a starch, but that's a different story. But anyway, for their debut show, the Fresh Meat 2.
Yes. His
family was right behind us, and I'm not here to bitch about it because I think I said it on the review show that like I remember like after the show they loved the show and they were just like, oh yeah, I can't believe this blah 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 blah, and I'm just like, yeah, like smiling like, yeah, that's what happens here, and like I said, not saying in like a smart ass way, but like no, like in a way like I want to see people like that come back who even if even if they're just the family of the ref, like that was so cool. Like I don't know if I've ever thought about like families of like refs and all for you commentator, like where we want to be there, we want to support, like even though it's the person you're supporting isn't supposed to be supported,
Yeah, I get that. That's like, I can tell you, I went to a wedding like a month ago, and I knew it, and I don't know why I didn't think about it, and he didn't think about it either, but like Charles my friend who was getting married, Charles is his cousin.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh shoot, I forgot Charles was going to be here. And like, I was talking to him and like, something, oh, who's this? And then he's like, oh, he's oh yeah, we loved your show. Oh yeah, it was so much fun. Oh, we got to get back to one. Like, having a good time isn't just like for you, it's for everybody. Like, I think people just need to forget, again, just if it's not for you, you don't have to poo-poo it. You can ignore it, or you can accept it and embrace it, and maybe something good can come of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting soft in my old age.
Knowing things we've talked about on Twitter years ago and on the Ohio Indie Report, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
There was a story about like two fans that came to AIW long time ago, and
they didn't come. They were scared to come.
Well, supposedly
they were scared to come to AIW shows.
Well, supposedly one of them had been in the crowd and didn't like.
Oh, okay.
But I never heard what show it was. So that's,
I don't know.
But we kind of had a reaction to that whole thing, and you kind of had there's 2 words.
It is what it is. It is what it is. It's in the past. These are old things. Nobody needs to know about these things. They're old things.
Well, one of those people is canceled, so.
Yeah. So who's the real winner? It's me.
Can I say I got
nobody likes the other person. So.
Can I say I got kind of happy when that person got canceled?
I was. Real vindication on my part.
Anyway, there's so much in this episode that, like, if you weren't around for
many inside jokes,
if you weren't around for the Turner's Hall days or early Mount Carmel, you might be like, who the fuck's Peyton Vince? Who are they talking about?
That's what everybody says anyways. Fuck's Peyton Vince.
Anyway, Anthony Young versus Chase Oliver. I'm gonna go with Chase. Love Chase. What about Chase Oliver annoys you?
His stupid abs. His stupid abs. Charming good looks, his good hair. I have good hair too. I don't know. That's about it. I just stunning physique.
Speaking of charming good looks and great hair, let's move on to the next one. Members only versus the Rip City Shooters.
Right. Members only. Definitely stunning good looks and great hair.
I mean, I was kind of going with both teams, really, but...
Oh, yeah, I guess Josh and Wes, too. Well, Wes had great hair. That hair got chopped. Well, so did Josh's great hair got chopped, so... Just saying.
I actually think Wes and Josh kind of pull off the shorter hair.
I think so too. I don't think that looks bad. I think they both look extremely acceptable with either type of hairstyle.
I mean, Calvin probably has the worst hair in the whole match.
Wow. It's because you don't see it up close. It's got some good waves.
Yeah, but what I'm saying the other three are so good.
I don't know. I think Calvin's got a real nice waves. It's got good genetics up there on top of his head.
Okay, who's got the worst hair in the match then?
Josh Bishop, and I will think he would agree with me because I recently was with Josh Bishop and he was talking about how much he hates his hair because he's bleached it to the point that it doesn't exist anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my answer. That's my cop out of not having to actually choose somebody. I'll just go with what Josh Bishop said.
I mean, smart. I really wasn't going with condition of the hair because of bleaching, because I can only imagine how horrible that fucking is.
It's pretty bad.
This is a pretty interesting match because, number one, I'm trying to figure out who everybody's going to root for.
Yeah, it's definitely a battle of fan favorites here.
But also, like, this is like an undercover high-profile match for members only.
Yeah.
They're going up
against the former tag team champions, and going up against the absolute champion, going up against the Biggins Cup winner. Like, I mean, I know that members only are the Pod Van Dam award-winning tag team of the universe now because Pod Van Dam no longer exists. So now they're just the Pod Van Dam Universal champions.
Universal plaque holders?
Yeah, they're the Universal plaque holders. But that's like the resume for Josh and Wes coming off of two big wins over Cardona and Myers. Josh coming off of two big wins over Eric Stevens and Isaiah Broner. Like, this is a huge match for members only to prove that they belong in AIW. They belong with those main event stars. They belong in the talks for opportunities, is how I'll put it.
Yeah, because I would say a win here would kind of go, okay, like, if they can beat the champion and I don't want to say like the former tag champions, like Wes Barkley, like you said, Chandler Biggins Memorial
Cup winner. So it's like, why wouldn't they get a tag title shot? Yeah, definitely put them in line for a tag title shot. Gives them, you could argue that if one of them pins Josh Bishop, they have an absolute title shot on their way. It'd be the first time either of them got a shot at the absolute title.
That would be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm really curious of how the crowd's going to be.
It's going to be split more than likely. We'll see how much of Barkley Nation shows up, how much of the Bishop Brigade shows up, how much of the club shows up for members only. Like, it's going to be a real hostile environment. It's going to be a real fun environment.
And then you're going to have people who are going to have to pick a side.
Yeah.
People that love members only, people that love Rip City,
or people like me who are impartial and have to remain impartial as their own commentary.
Yeah. If I'm picking any team in this, I have to go Rip City. These are, I don't want to call them a veteran tag team just because of, like, if I say veteran tag team in AIW, I would think of like someone like To Infinity and Beyond.
You would bring up as a veteran tag team.
But they are, I'll say this, as a team and individually, they are arguably top tier.
Yeah, they're extremely successful in both aspects, as singles and as a team.
And if Bishop can have those last two matches that you mentioned, Eric Stevens and Isaiah Broner, he has a tag partner in this match and two opponents. No offense to members only, but I'm not going to say they're exactly on the caliber of Isaiah or power. I won't say caliber. I will say power of Isaiah Broner. And
I can't wait for them to hear this. They're going to text me. They're going to get this on when it drops on Thursday. They're going to text me. They're like, I can't believe you fucking said that. I'm like, I don't agree.
Well, I already told one of them how I felt, so it's okay.
Oh boy.
But I'm saying, and it's no disrespect to them, that they do not have the power and strength that Isaiah Broner and Eric Stevens do.
There. they're going to take disrespect from that. I can tell you that much.
Take it up with Isaiah Broner and Eric Stevens.
Nah.
But I don't really like to go up against Bishop sometimes.
I get it.
And this is kind of a home field-ish advantage for Bishop. Like you mentioned, if how much of the Bishop Brigade can come out, because like they're not that far from home.
And is that Kent area?
Yeah.
He's definitely going to, I would assume some of his family and friends will be there.
Yeah. All right, let's get into what might be the main event of the evening, or just the last match we're going to cover. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, on to the last one. The Bitcoin Boys versus Bulking Season for the AIW Tag Team titles.
Rematch. Tag Team champions, the Duke and the Bitcoin Boys.
Oh, we can't forget
the former champions, Arthur MacArthur and Chuck Stone.
The Haas boot holding Duke.
He's a double champ, tag champ, and Haas boot champ.
What did you think about their match at Jet Black New Year?
I was shocked. Bulking Season had been on a bit of a roll. Obviously, you don't get a tag team championship match unless you've been on a bit of a roll. Bitcoin Boys are on a bit of a roll. I think after the year that Eric Taylor had as a singles competitor, and after the year that Mikey had as a singles competitor, people were doubting them and doubting if Bitcoin Boys were a good cohesive unit. And much like the Duke always does, found a way to bring those two together and make magic happen, and now they're the tag team champions. Chuck Stone, apparently there's some type of injury and couldn't compete to the proper level, so they're getting this match, this rematch. Seemed like a pretty fair loss to me. Arthur MacArthur stinks, and he's bald, and he's the worst. But I'm impartial. That's what I thought of the match at Jet Black New Year.
I mentioned it obviously on the review for Jet Black New Year. I love the Bitcoin Boys becoming champions, but this feud between these two teams is something that like will never die, and it's something that's been, I mean, this has been going on since fucking 2021.
Yes, I mentioned earlier that, like, yes, I technically debuted with this most recent class as a commentator. I've been involved with AIW for a long time, and I started training with the first class, and I left, and I came back. And when I came back, it was when those four were just starting to get ready to debut and be ready. And, like, they're watching them. It's like the first class I was able to watch, like, figure it out in training and then slowly build up. I mean, because of the pandemic, that's obviously there's only been so many classes since then. But like, to see where those four started to where they are now, don't tell Arthur I'm saying nice things about him. It's like really cool to see that like they're now like in a feud against each other. They're now like, it's just so intertwined that this is where it is today. It's just really cool to see that. For me personally, like I again, don't tell Arthur I'm saying nice things, but I was emotional when Bulking Season won the tag titles. It didn't help that when Chuck and his dad like were hugging, they was like right above me, and I'm just like, oh my god, this moment, I can't right now. But like, I even like while I was on commentary, I felt like I was getting choked up like after the Bitcoin Boys won, just because knowing those four guys and having been, like I said, from kind of like watching them start to figure out the debuting and like getting together and where they've all gone and how they've all grown was like just real cool for me to see. And I felt like it was just a great thing. I'm really excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, it's not new, and it's not, I don't think it's going to end anytime soon, but you got Bitcoin Boys winning the championship, and Bulking Season, they seem pissed about not even just like losing the titles, but like everything that came up to it. And could we see a different side of Bulking Season? Just a Bulking Season that is out for revenge.
Yeah, this is definitely. They feel slighted because again, Chuck went in there with an injury, and that injury was targeted by the Bitcoin boys. So you may say that's not a fair advantage, but if you're going to go out there, you're going out there the way you are. I'm sure Mikey and Eric were somehow hurt. I'm sure Eric might have maybe he was eating an olive and accidentally bit the tip of his finger. That hurts. I bit the tip of my fingers. It hurts. Maybe Mikey strained his back with this huge hog. I don't know. They might not have been 100% either, but they went out there anyways and still won the match.
So I'm looking forward to the first title defense of the Bitcoin boys, but
first of many. Long live the Duke.
I was going to say you got the Duke out there too, to where
he's a tag team champion.
I don't know.
One of the Bitcoin boys.
I don't think he's a Bitcoin.
Duke and the Bitcoin boys.
I don't think he's a bit.
I'm not going to listen to what you and Wadsworth try to tell me. They won the tag team champions. They're tag team champions. That's how it works. Eric Taylor was the absolute champion for 5 minutes in Wadsworth.
I remember that. Before
Matt Wadsworth, the president of AIW, tries to tell me it doesn't count because the match was restarted. And I said, was it restarted as Eric was the champion? In my opinion, yes. In other people's opinion, if it gets restarted, the other match never even happened. It's getting restarted. Eric Taylor, former absolute champion, tag team champion, Duke, double champion. What a few people in AIW to hold 2 championships at one time. The Hoss boot and the tag team titles.
Wadsworth, the man, not the place?
The man, not the place.
If I'm picking a winner here, I'm putting my money on Bitcoin. What do you find annoying about the Bitcoin boys?
Eric's stupid abs. Mikey's really good wrestling. They're incredibly good looks.
Not a fan of abs, are you?
It's a sore spot for me. That's what annoys me about them.
All right, that's pretty much everything. Kind of a long one. We kind of delved into a lot of topics. Some might go over people's heads, but that's fine.
A little bit of lore, a little bit of AIW lore for all these people out there.
Any final thoughts, last minute plugs before we go?
No, everybody come out. Kent, this Saturday, the 21st of January. We're going to have a really good show for everybody. Akron, what is it? February 4th, I believe is the date. We've got, oh, come on. Where's my calendar? I'll pull it up and get the plugs going.
It is February 4th. What's that show called?
Paul London. That is Join the Swarm. AIW Join the Swarm in Akron, Ohio. So if you're already in Kent and if you're in that area, 2 weeks from now, got a show on the 4th. That's going to be a good one. Like I said, Paul London, former WWE Tag Team Champion, one of the longest running SmackDown. I think up until recently, they were the longest running SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Recently announced, first time ever in this venue, on Saturday, February 11th. We're going to be in Youngstown, Ohio. First time ever at the Westside Bowl. Just announced, I don't know if you saw it, it was announced literally right before, like an hour or so before we took the air. Mm-hmm. Sandman will be there.
We'll
have the Sandman there.
Will you be taking another beer from Sandman?
There's an AIW wellness policy, and I'm not supposed to drink during shows, so it's doubtful. I've been known to break the wellness policy, but I try not to anymore. I get looks from the other people, but you never know what's going to happen when Sandman's in the house.
If it's not you,
and also,
if it's not you, it has to be Grandma Singh.
I don't think she's going to be there. Never know. You never know who's going to show up in AIW. And then as far as plugs outside of AIW, well, I mean, there's also, you can listen to The Card Is Going to Change, the AIW podcast. You can go to AIWrestling.com to learn more about AIW. You can come to the AIW Academy and train to be a professional wrestler or a manager or a referee, or maybe someday you could be as cool as me and become a commentator. But that's the only way to get those types of jobs. Come to the school. AIW Patreon, a lot more stuff in the works for that. Once everything's back on our feet, This year is really going to be a lot of content this year. It's going to be a lot of shows. It's going to be a lot of content. And this is a great time to get into AIW. If you're looking for me, find me on all social media at RevTintin. I posted the other day. I'm looking to get out of the Cleveland area, maybe at a couple other places to do commentary at. If anybody wants to hear me do commentary for their favorite professional wrestling company, hit me up. I'm based out of Cleveland. I can come with the Cleveland car. I can myself. Just find me on Twitter, DM me till I figure out a little bit more what I'm going to be doing. That's about it. Those are my plugs.
And of course, you can find myself at jsummers330 on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Hive, much like you can find the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. And like I said earlier in this show, please rate, review, and subscribe your ever listen to this fine podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. And all of those links can be found through the Linktree link in the podcast notes. Check out our podcast friends, such as Pod Van Dam, Super Fantastic Podcast, It's Evolution Baby, The IndieCast, Sobros Network, Biff Radio, GameWorks Podcast, Power Bob Jitsu, Power Driver Podcast, Fully Posable, Positively Pro Wrestling, Indie Wrestling Guide, If You Catch My Grift, At Odds with Wrestling, Marks with Mikes, Juggalo Rewind, X-Over, This Ends at Prom, and Porch Talk. And check out our other non-podcasting friends, such as The Mystery Men, Redline Radio, Mouse's Wrestling Adventures, VHS Party Tonight on Instagram, Danger Zone Video in Joliet, Tennessee, Heart of Gold, Toy Hio Toy Show, Time Capsule Toys, Smokin' Jay's Barbecue, JCP Designs, Midwest Territory, Southern Underground Pro, and the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name. Well, maybe we don't know your name, but we just call you Igor later.
Shout out them boys.
It's the Wrestling Cheers. Get up on your feet, brightening your day in the middle of the week. And you gotta love the show. Yeah, you know it holds a title for the best podcast talking wrestling in Ohio. Finishing a cold one, take a load off. We ain't all about the prohibition like Josh, so we cheers. And then we sit back. Other shows are in the trash, kinda like they Nick Stapp. Like the name is Matt Justice, wearing all the gold. Wrestling Cheers is coming to a close. The #1 podcast going in the game. And one day everybody's gonna know the name. It's the Wrestling Cheers. This is Platinum Max, signing off. Ohio, good night. The world, good night. We love you. We'll see you next week.